Just overall, what pleased you about Saturday's performance against
Yeah.
Stanford?
Um, the way we started, right, and that was kind of the point of emphasis to get off to a fast start. Felt like there were some things in the passing game we could take advantage of with some matchups, and the guys just went out and executed. So that was fun to watch up in the press box of seeing them execute just like they did in practice, and good things happening for them.
Did you want to get Trell involved early? Was that something you wanted
Yeah,
to see happen?
there were some matchups that we thought we had favorable with him, and putting him in different spots, whether it's in the slot, and different things like that. And they it worked. So it was good. And then with Cam Ross too, right, get him going. Got to get Jamal going a little bit earlier. And that's a good problem to have when you're trying to get the ball to a couple different guys. But it all started with the quarterback too, because he came out, he was on fire. Getting the ball out of his hand and getting in rhythm, and then was able to establish the run, which I thought would be a challenge for us because they had been pretty stout against the run, and our guys did a good job up front of changing line of scrimmage, create some seams. The backs had to have some dirty runs, and Jamar and X and even Harrison, they hit it up in there a couple times, and those 7-yard runs were good runs for us.
How did Drake grade out at center once he had to make that move?
Yeah, he did pretty good actually, and he's been taking reps, throughout fall camp and throughout the course of the week at center. Obviously just trying to plan for the worst to happen. Unfortunately, it did happen, and so he did well. He did.
Wigginton has been kind of banged up a lot of the fall, and he seemed like he just got thrown in there, and maybe you wouldn't have used him otherwise. Do you think he'll be better for that experience?
He'll be better this week because, like you said, he had been banged up and he had missed some practice time. And last week he missed a couple of days, so he wasn't as sharp. But he's a smart kid, and that's the thing about it. Like, he at least knew what he was doing. It just physically he wasn't as sharp out there, but he'll play a big role for us moving forward.
And Tyshawn Wyatt, he's a guy who's also been kind of rehabbing
Yes.
and coming back. How much have you seen him kind of be more comfortable and more confident and kind of believing in his knee?
Yeah, you see that, week by week, day by day. What's the day? Today's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So it's this Wednesday practice for us on a Tuesday. So he had a good practice yesterday. Sunday got some good work in there. And just, as we get going down the stretch here, Saturday night was a physical game. Like, Friday's going to be fast and physical. So, to have those guys fresh and have multiple guys ready to go, and expecting Tyshawn to be able to help us some.
I was going to say, Florida State's interior defensive linemen are probably the
Yeah,
biggest guys you'll see all
They're,
season, right?
they're good. They're really, really good, right? Probably one of the best fronts we've faced since we've been here. Like, they pop off the tape. Like, they're really good across the board. So, yeah.
What do you have to do to help, especially if Brady can't
Yeah.
go, help those guys on the
Yeah.
interior be able to block?
Well, just
the
try to
Jackson
keep
and
it
those guys?
because they give you some multiple looks, right? They play some 4 down, they play some 3 down. They're slanting, they're moving, so just really simplifying things for the guys up front and give them the best chance to get the combos right? Because we talk about, just don't allow an unblocked defender at the point of attack. If we can do that, then we feel like we have a chance to at least get a positive play. So,
What's it just been like working with the offensive group this year so far? Just figuring out what works for them, what doesn't,
Yeah.
and seeing all that pay off on Saturdays.
It's been fun because this is a great group. They love each other. As a team, as coach to player. It sounds kind of cliche-ish, but like they really love each other. You can see that as we go out and play, right? The passion they have for trying to perform at a high level. You're right. Their eagerness to want to get things corrected. Their attention to detail and the game plan and, the ownership and trying to go out and put forth a great performance. And so that's been really fun. And, some interesting personalities here, which is good, right? They make fun of me, which is great. And keep playing well. You can make all the fun of me you want to make, with that. But it's all been good. And, I think that's really a testament to just the character of the guys we have, not only on offense, but on the team and just in the whole program. When you've assembled and brought together a group of guys like that, and for them to mesh as well as they have mesh, right, for a common goal to, to go win, right, and to try to compete for an opportunity to get to Charlotte. And this would be one of those games where we kind of see where we stack up because they're really good,
Any more
Thank you.
handoffs to Chandler?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. It was actually supposed to be a pass that he ended up running, so it worked out pretty well either way. Yep.
Mikhail Boley won numerous honors this week.
Yeah.
When I remember speaking to you guys in the offseason, you said he needed to take the next step in order for you guys to take the next step. What has changed for him?
You know, it really kind of probably clicked. I shouldn't say click, but you start to see a change back here in the January, February, March time. And it was more so, not so much on the field, it's just how he carried himself with more confidence, and he was more vocal. And, you know, he was speaking to the team after workouts, and you're like, is this the same guy? Just, you know, had a really good presence about himself and was speaking some stuff that was really, really good, right? And I think that just speaks to his maturity and his confidence, right? His athletic confidence, his physical confidence, mental confidence. And that's what we're seeing right now, the best version of him.
Sometimes when you have a receiver, you have to kind of force a little bit of that buy-in into blocking. I don't think you have to do that with Jamal Adrian.
No, not at all. And I give Coach Mims and credit with that, and the guys in general, right? Understanding like their value in the run game. We ask our receivers to be, you know, involved in blocking safeties and different things like that. But also knowing that that helps them, because we were able to connect on some play action passes because the safeties were triggering pretty hard. So they see in that understanding like, hey, if we're able to run the ball, then there'll be opportunities to throw it down the field.
With Florida State scoring as much as they have, is there temptation to be more aggressive as a play caller?
No, just kind of do what we believe we can do to go out and score points, and not get caught up into looking at what they're doing as opposed to kind of what we're doing, and, you know, trying to stay efficient, stay ahead of the change, right? If there's third down situations, continue to convert those so that, you know, we can stay on the field, right, and not put our defense back out there. And then, you know, those opportunities we get down the red area, right, obviously converting them into touchdowns, because, you know, they can score, right? They're one of the top scoring teams in the country. But, I mean, we've done a decent job of scoring, and feel like if we could just continue to play good football, right, keep the quarterback clean, right, run the ball effectively, you know, and make plays on the perimeter, then we just chip away at it and see what happens.
With all the success that Terrell had the other night, you think they'll try to take him out of the plan?
You know,
if they do, does that help you if they do?
I can't speak, you know, maybe with that, because they're secondary, you know, pretty talented. I mean, they're talented from top to bottom, right? So they could certainly feel like they can match, right, and just cover. And then we have to win, you know, those man situations. And if they playing us in zone, then, you know, Chandler just finds the right guy in the zone situation. And I expect to see probably a little bit of both, you know, and maybe trying to create some disguise for Chandler in the passing game, and then try to eliminate some free access throws, or, you know, disrupt timing getting down the field. So we're prepared for it, and, you know, it's a game of adjustments, and kind of how he's attacking us, then we got to be ready, prepared to adjust if it's something different than what we expected.
Is it crucial that you be able to run the ball against
It is crucial for a multitude of reasons. One, you know, to eliminate us being in obvious pass situations, right? Two, to help try to, you know, sustain the ball and maintain the clock, maybe, you know, keep their offense off the field, you know, with that, as we try to just play, you know, complementary football as a program. But yeah, and that's who we are, who we believe we are, that being able to run the football attributes to our success.
Talked about getting off to a good start. You've first half and second half drives. The first drive you scored on 6 out of 8.
Yeah.
What's leading to kind of the success at the start of the game?
You
and the start
know,
of the half?
I think the start of game one, the guys are ready to go, right? And then again, it goes back to owning the game plan. And, you know, coaching staff, we've done a good job of trying to prepare them for what multitude of things we could see. You know, what's been interesting is these first couple of games, like you're going against Coastal, a new DC, so you're trying to, with a new team, trying to figure out exactly what is it he's going to do. NC State had a new DC, right? Windermere was the same, and then Stanford, you know, basically had a different DC than what they had the previous year. Now Stanford had about 3 games of video, but you're still trying to make sure what you see on tape, you're practicing it and giving the guys the best opportunity to be successful. And then here, you know, with Florida State, you know, Coach White, first time at Florida State, but obviously was at Nebraska. And, you know, is some of the things he was doing at Nebraska is it showing up at Florida State. Well, they've had one game that was, you know, competitive in a bunch of blowouts. So what is he holding back, seriously. Like, so, that's where you kind of got a plan going into the game and saying, okay, if he does this, then we do this. All right. If he doesn't, then okay, these plays have the right answers for what he could do defensively. And so we've tried to cover in a short week as much as we can without overloading the guys, but giving them the best chance to at least start the game successful and fast, knowing that there'll be adjustments that need to be made.
Coach White said yesterday that Chandler's really dangerous when he goes off script. Did you expect him to be that dangerous in those situations, and how have you taken advantage
Yeah,
of it?
because that was some of the things that showed up in this particular tape at North Texas and even at TCU. Like, say, the play kind of maybe breaks down and he escapes, and he's a runner, but he's also a runner with the mindset to throw too. But he's fast enough to kind of get going on some guys and maybe a little deceptive to some people that hadn't played against him initially. So we saw that out of him, and then in spring practice and fall camp, we saw his ability to extend plays, versus our defense.
You mentioned being up in the box. That's different for you, I think.
Yeah, so the first year I was up, and then I came down the last 2 years, and then back up. But majority of my career have been up in the box. So thought it was best to go back up there and just see it from a different viewpoint. And the communication with Chandler in between series, or with the coaches and all that's been really good. As we had to make some adjustments. And all that's been improved for us as a staff.
What's your comfort level like? I guess
Yeah.
flipping back and forth, you must be comfortable with both, but
Yeah, on the field, because I can get a little fiery sometimes. So at least being up in the box eliminates maybe that kind of emotion of being down there in the field. So it's a little bit more calmer up in the box with that. But you do like being on the field because you can feel the energy and kind of look the guys in the face. So it was a little bit what was most important, right? I felt like it was most important just to kind of remove myself from the field, being in a little bit more calmer state than being down on the field.
Can you see things better from there?
Yeah, you do, just because of the viewpoint. But, on the field, I was either staying behind the ball or in front of the ball to kind of see it, from that perspective. But, yeah, there is some better viewpoints from up in the box.
How much was that? Was more about having a veteran quarterback that is fiery in himself?
That's true, too, because, obviously after year one, we had two new guys in Musket and Calandra, who's a freshman. So being out on the field was probably a little bit more for that purposes, and then just to continue with it the next year as Calandra was still, developing. And then, throughout spring and the summer and fall, I have so much confidence in Chandler, right, and our relationship and just our communication. That was just easy to say, all right, you got it, big guy, I'm going upstairs. So
I was gonna say we talked a lot about the coaching staff continuity during the off season.
Yep.
Does it show up on game days? Is that all smooth with all the
yeah, very
communication and
smooth,
in-game adjustments?
because and that, a lot of times that goes unnoticed, I think, in college athletics, right, particularly football. And Coach Heff, now this is our third season together, who we've never worked together before, for example, it was in the North Carolina State game. He just came over the headset one time and said, hey, Des, like the play we just ran, like if we just do this, I think we can get them. And so we did that. And Chandler runs down the field for 46 yards just because instead of blocking the backside end, we just read him. So those things are more common, right? And, I think there's a comfort amongst everybody in the staff room to speak or to like present ideas, because it's all ours. It's not just me. And that growth as a staff has been good.